toward performance excellence framework.
So far we have learned that management frameworks should encompass the entire organization and all its processes. Frameworks should guide the activities of departments, business units, and individual managers toward higher performance levels while not adding unnecessary complexity. Management frameworks should be enabling mechanisms, which add value to management by making managers better informed and more effective. Too often, however, managers introduce a particular management framework that is complex or does not have any bearing on execution. The result is that top management, individual managers, and the organization as a whole gradually become less efficient at managing time, resources, and costs. In 2003, Jacques Kemp, then newly appointed CEO of ING Insurance and Asset Management Asia Pacific, faced a similar challenge. When he took over from a predecessor who had just completed the acquisition of the Aetna insurance business into ING, Kemp was tasked with integrating and improving the overall efficiency of the 14 Asian ING country operations and the 10 regional functions located at ING Asia's headquarters in Hong Kong. The goal was to create synergies and to eliminate misalignments across business units. Not satisfied with the standard solutions that some of the even most renowned management consulting firms provided, he developed his own management framework that he later labeled TPE.44. Once the TPE framework had been rolled out and all business units and functions were using it as an active management tool, clear progress could be noted in terms of efficiencies, better audit reports, higher growth rates, and much higher satisfaction scores among staff and customers. For Kemp, the overarching issue was the optimization of what he called the management of management. He argued that many executives would define their top 5 priorities as, for example, customer focus, superior operations, execution, market leadership, and employee satisfaction, but would not define these categories in a way that they could be understood throughout the organization at every level. According to Kemp, in addition, often managers would fall short in creating the appropriate organizational structures that would enable successful strategy execution. Kemp argued that executives have to provide management with the right tools to get the job done. Kemp compared his approach with how the Swedish furniture company IKEA had perfected its do-it-yourself furniture assembly for consumers, which essentially enables anybody to succeed in the building task, no matter how complex the overall piece may be. Kemp argued that IKEA's main added value was to transform amateur carpenters, the IKEA customers, into professional carpenters by giving them a complete, consistent, and comprehensive set of tools and templates. Based on this, Kemp saw his main role as leader to make certain that his managers had effective tools in order to become much more efficient at both the individual level tasks and the overall organizational coordination level. The difference between TPE and the more theoretically derived frameworks developed by management consulting firms and academicians is TPE's grounding in business realities that dynamically evolved based on managing spatially dispersed business units and business functions. TPE follows the logic that the development of management matrices and key performance indices, KPIs, are fundamentally a team effort. Because of the lack of team orientation in the development of the matrices, measurements, and KPIs, many of the competing frameworks miss the implicit details in the connections between planning, execution, feedback and adjustment processes. The main use of a management framework should be to enable management to execute the organizational mission and vision effectively. The framework then becomes a structured and coherent tool that acts as both a template for execution and for organizational alignment. TPE follows a predominantly linear sequential approach. It starts with the clear setting of an organization's mission and vision, who and what, and then moves on to internal and external analyses that form the foundation for the business planning process. Traditional tools like strength, weakness and opportunities threats analysis, SWOT, are used for data analysis purposes. Based on these analyses, Management should decide how to compete from a business strategy perspective, for example, low-cost versus differentiation or focused differentiation or focused differentiation. From here, the previously mentioned drivers are developed. After describing the macro, micro market situation and trends, competitive analysis, and SWOT, we use the results as inputs for the business planning process and the definition and operationalization of the performance drivers.